Now, welcome back to Crime in the Coconut. A true crime, paranormal, scary, lots of stuff podcast.
Yeah, it's... I'd say this one's scary for sure.
I'm very excited about this.
I was telling Ashley while I was writing it, like, this is... Well, first of all, when I was looking up stories to write, the only thing that this one said, it said Katherine Knight's name and said, first woman in Australia to be given the life sentence without parole.
Wow.
And didn't say anything else.
So you're like, what?
and it said it killed she for murdering her husband. And I was like,
really?
You know, let me just look up the Wikipedia, because sometimes I do find little diamonds like that. And I wasn't expecting any of this.
I'm so ready for this story. I can't wait.
Oh, I went downstairs. I, like, almost got done writing it. I went downstairs, and I was like, I walked to my grandparents, and I go, thank you so much for raising me in, like, a normal household.
Yeah.
And
Thank you for kids.
Yeah. And they were like, why are you saying that to us? And I told them about it. I don't know.
You're like, but now we do this stuff now, and you realize, like, no matter how bad our lives were, like, we got so lucky.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah.
To not have something like this.
And that falls into our continuing nature versus nurture business. Yeah. All right.
Let's get it poppin'.
So, my story is on Katherine Night. This takes place in Australia.
Is this our first Australia story? I think
no,
so. No,
the Trump family is from Australia. I don't know why I like Australia. I don't.
They've got some pretty wild stories.
Yeah. I don't know anything about Australia. I'm just gonna say that. If you're from Australia, you're gonna be like, she doesn't know what she's talking about, and you're right. You're right. All right. So, Katherine Night was born on October 24th, 1955, in the small town of Aberdeen in North South Wales, Hunter Valley, which is Australia, which was a very conservative and rural town. Katherine's mother, Barbara, was married to a guy named Jack Rohan, and she had 4 sons with this guy, so these would be Katherine's half-siblings. So she had these 4 sons before Katherine was born.
Cool.
With this guy.
Cool.
Aberdeen is also a town that she goes back and forth from.
Okay.
So I might not mention it, but there's a lot of moving in this story, and it's usually between a certain town and Aberdeen.
Got it.
Barbara started an affair with a man named Ken Knight, which caused a major uproar because this was the kind of town where everyone knew everybody.
Oh, no.
Barb and Ken were forced to move to a town called Marie. None of Barb's 4 sons went with her, and she went on to have 4 more children with Ken.
Good Lord.
And Katherine being a part of the younger set of twins.
I didn't know she was a twin.
Yeah, she's a twin sister. And they're the youngest. They talk about them being close, but that's the only time she really ever came up. Like,
okay.
Her sister and her uncle were, like, the only 2 people she was really close to.
Okay.
Like, in a healthy way.
Oh.
I'm gonna do a trigger warning for rape.
Oh, yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
And I don't normally do trigger warnings, but I felt like this needed to be shared.
Yeah.
So Katherine's father was a very abusive alcoholic who would rape Barb up to 10 times a day, according to Wikipedia. So who knows how many times
it really was.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Barb would then tell her daughters in intimate detail of the nightmarish acts she faced at the hands of Ken and would complain of how much she hated sex and men. She would tell all of this stuff to her children, and they were, like, younger than 10.
Oh, my God.
So you can imagine, like, the detail she probably talked about her rape.
She didn't stand a chance.
These kids that don't even know what sex is, or are just learning what sex is, you know?
Their bodies aren't even halfway developed.
I'm just gonna crack one of these open now.
There we go. Oh my God, that's awful. I can't even.
So when Katherine came to her mother to complain about one of her partners, I don't know what they meant by her partners. I don't know if they meant Barb. I'm sure they meant Barb because Katherine was, like, 11 at this time. So I imagine she didn't have any partners.
Okay.
But when she came to her mother to complain of her partners wanting to perform a sexual act with her and that Katherine did not want to do it, her mother told her to put up with it and stop complaining.
Oh, no.
Katherine claimed she was sexually assaulted by many members of her family, but specified not her father until she was about 11 years old. Psychiatrists accepted these claims and family members confirmed the events.
Good Lord.
It gets worse, girl.
Oh my God.
If I had $1 for every time my jaw hit the floor while writing this.
I told my dad the other day, because we were talking about the, child sex trafficking and all of that. I told my dad, I said, Dad, I'm going to be real honest with you. If I ever find out someone touches Haley, I will happily go to prison because I will kill them.
Oh, hell yeah.
I will kill them. I will take their head to the police station myself.
I call them my nieces because it just makes sense to people.
It's easier to explain.
It reflects the relationship other than calling them my cousins. I have these younger cousins.
Mm-hmm.
And I sat them down and I was like, if you ever feel uncomfortable, you can always talk to me. Yep. I will not judge you. Nope. I will not care who it is. I won't care what happened, what you did, what someone else did. But if you feel like you need to tell somebody, you can tell me.
Yep. I tell Haley all the time, even if you think you're going to get in trouble, you need to tell me anyway, because I promise you won't.
Yeah.
I said, it's going to be worse if you don't tell me, honey.
I told her, you need to respect yourself.
Yep.
And children understand that.
Yeah. She gets, what is good and what is bad.
Yeah. All right. Anyways.
Oh, man. That's such a heavy topic. Okay.
Yes, for sure. Okay. So, the family and children also face some tension involving racism.
What?
As Barbara's great-grandmother was an indigenous Australian and Barbara identified as an Aboriginal. I didn't know there was any kind of sense of discrimination like that, but I know nothing of Australia, so I can't really say.
That's fascinating.
I just wanted to know that this was an additional source of stress for the kids.
Yeah.
I don't know if being an Aboriginal is a slander word or if that's necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, this is definitely not we're not trying to be offensive. That's very fascinating though, and I can see how that would just add to, especially if they're getting bullied.
So, also Katherine was only really close with one family member besides her sister, who was her uncle Oscar Knight, and he was a champion horseman. And he killed himself in 1969, and Katherine still claims that his ghost comes to visit her.
I believe you, Katherine. That would haunt me, too, for the rest of my life.
I am sure it's some kind of coping mechanism, for sure.
Yeah.
Katherine was considered a loner in high school and was remembered as a bully by classmates. She assaulted a student and injured a teacher. When not being an emotionally conflicted, trauma-stuffed, projective teen, she was considered a model student and received awards for her good behavior. I don't know if that was we know she's troubled, so we're just going to give her extra brownie points for being good
so it doesn't get worse.
To enforce her being good.
Yeah.
She left school at the age of She left school at the age of 15 without ever learning how to read or write. Yeah.
15 and you don't know how to read or write?
Yeah.
Well, that's gotta be hard for her.
Freya's learning all about Australia right now, actually. And my grandma was telling me about how a lot of kids that go to school there don't actually go to school like we do here because they're so far placed apart household-wise.
Yeah.
It's almost like homeschooling.
Okay.
So I'd imagine her family probably wasn't the most diligent at
teaching her what she needed to know.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
A year later, she started her dream job as an abattoir at a slaughterhouse.
Such good dialect.
Those are the people that slit the animals' throats.
Yep. That's pretty on brand.
For those of you who don't know. She was quickly promoted to boning and was gifted her very own set of butcher knives. And she hung them over her bed in every location she lived until her incarceration in case she needed them.
She's a sensible girl.
I have a Louisville Slugger.
Okay, there you go. I keep a taser that could take down a bear in my purse, so...
You gotta put a sock on the end of your bat so that if you go to swing it and somebody grabs it, you pull it off, the sock slides off.
Genius!
And then you hit them again.
Safety tip number 1 from CATC podcast.
Yes.
Sock on your baseball bat.
Yes.
That's genius.
That's one of the coolest things I ever learned.
That's pretty cool.
And I can't wait to... I hope I never have to whip that.
But I hope that when you do, you have the time to appreciate the moment it works.
I hope it's badass as hell.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't wait to... Please take a picture of their face when they realize the sock has flown off of the baseball bat.
Photographic memory.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's get into Katherine's husband, David Kellett.
Okay.
When they said that she murdered her husband, I thought they were talking about this guy. She actually didn't murder her husband. She just murdered a guy that she was with.
Okay.
A boyfriend at the time.
Okay.
Spoiler alert, David doesn't die.
David's alright.
Yeah. But I felt I had to mention him because this was like the start of her spiraling downwards.
The beginning of the end. Okay.
So David had worked in the railways and witnessed a lot of tragedy that led him to heavily drinking. His best friend was killed in a switching accident, to which David was witness to.
Oh, God.
David also was present when a train hit a school bus of children, killing 6 of them in 1968.
David, honey.
He helped rescue and remove their bodies, though.
Oh my God.
So at least he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Which sucks because his behavior deteriorated and he was let go from his position after causing multiple derailments due to falling asleep on the job.
Because he's tortured now. He's got so much.
Yeah. Then he began working at the slaughterhouse where he met Katherine.
Oh no, it was like falling into the devil's hand.
Yeah. So Katherine and David got married in 1964. So she was born in 55. She's 19, 20, what?
Math? She was born in 55 and they got married in 74. So 55, she's 18.
65.
19.
Yeah, 19.
19.
Okay. Per the request of Katherine.
All right, we're back. Amanda had to let in the cat.
I'm sorry. It's okay. Hi, Agam. She's ripping up the carpet because she's being ornery. All right.
She was 19. They got married.
Yes. Per the request of Katherine, they arrived to their service on a motorcycle.
That's pretty cool.
Katherine driving and David very, very, very intoxicated.
Good for him.
Barbara told David to watch out because she'll fucking kill you, and also said she had a few screws loose.
Oh no. That's her mother saying
yes.
that.
She said,
oh my God!
She said a couple other things too. But basically she was like, if you do anything to her, if you cheat on her or do anything, she will cut your throat.
Yeah.
On their wedding night, Katherine tried to strangle David because he fell asleep after only having sex with her 3 times.
Honey!
I'm gonna say, I feel so bad for all of these men that dated her.
Oh, I can't imagine.
Abuse, both physical, sexual, emotional, happens to men all too often, but is discredited because they're men and it's a woman doing it to them.
Yeah, they don't believe that a woman can assault a man.
Men getting abused by women.
Yes.
It's
not funny.
It's not funny. Neither is women getting abused by men, but we are a comedy podcast, so...
Right.
I'll put a little grain of salt on it. I'll put a little sprinkle.
And what's sad is, like, David didn't probably at this point know what she experienced with sex. Like, what she learned at a really young age, what sex is supposed to be like. He probably didn't know how aggressive that was. And so he's probably just thinking, well, I've disappointed her.
Well, that, and she's probably... Because it said that Ken would rape Barb up to, like, 10 times a day.
So that's what she's used to. She's used
like,
to thinking that men are supposed to have sex, like, this many times a day.
Yeah. I never thought about that.
Yeah. This is just bad all over.
Yes. Katherine was extremely abusive to David, and on one instance, when David came home late from a night of darts, Katherine was also pretty heavily pregnant when this happened. Oh. But she burned all of his clothes and shoes before hitting him over the head with a frying pan.
That's a little excessive, but she was pregnant.
It's not the first time she does that. She does it again.
Okay, so it's not just the pregnancy talking. Got it?
She did so much fucked up shit. So after the birth of her first child, David left for another woman to Queensland.
Oh no.
Katherine was seen violently shaking her baby carriage on the street and was sent to the hospital for postnatal depression. After being released, she placed her 2-month-old on the railroad line. She stole an axe, went into town, and threatened to kill multiple people.
No!
This guy known as Old Ted, that's just, I don't know, that's what they call him, found the baby and rescued her very shortly before the train arrived.
God bless Old Ted.
Katherine was arrested and sent to the hospital again, but recovered and signed herself out the next day.
No! Oh no. Yeah. CPS would have been in there with that baby.
Yeah.
Oh,
We've
no.
come a long way with mental health, and we still have a long way to go, but, like, damn.
This would not fly today.
We've
not
made
like
some
that.
feats, for sure.
Oh my god. Recovered.
Yes, recovered. All you have to say is you're okay, and you, like, don't want to kill people anymore. A few days later, Katherine had slashed a woman's face with one of her butcher knives, threatened for the woman to take her to Queensland to find David and his mother. And she also took a young boy hostage at this time, and when police arrived, they disarmed her with brooms.
So, I think that's because Australia has a no firearm policy.
Really?
They don't carry guns. I think.
I didn't know
Am
that.
I right about that?
Because they said it so casually. They're like, they disarmed her with brooms. I'm like, was there a broom factory next door?
Well, I think they trapped her in a gas station.
Yeah.
And then so they just used whatever they had there, and that must have been what they had. Because I think that, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Australia, they don't carry guns. I think they have a no gun policy.
Well, that would make sense. But
I
maybe
don't know
you
that
should
for
give
sure.
your law enforcement something that's not a broom.
Yeah, brooms don't work.
You know, teach them knife throwing or something. I don't know.
That would be so fucking cool.
It
Ninja
would be.
stars.
Yeah. Which...
Because that was, like, the only part that I know was the broom thing, because, like, it's funny.
Those, like, magic playing cards that people, like, stick
Hell
in the
yeah.
walls.
Hell yeah. Give them little metal playing cards. They got 52 of them.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's 52 arrests right there.
52 arrests. And they're reusable. You just pluck them right out. They don't need them anymore.
So, she was then taken to another psychiatric hospital. She told the nurses she intended to kill the mechanic who repaired David's car, which allowed him to leave. Then to find David and kill him and his mother.
What did his mama do?
I don't know.
Oh my god.
But, so they went and they told David, like, hey, she's trying to kill you and find you. Mm-hmm. He left his girlfriend and returned to Aberdeen with his mother to support Katherine.
She got the whop.
That's what I said!
So she got the whop, he left his girlfriend, came back to Katherine.
That's where they needed those brooms for something.
Oh no.
Oh god. I kind of like that song though.
I actually haven't listened to it.
Really?
I've seen the music video, but I never turned the sound on.
Oh, I like it. I'm really into like Doja Cat and
I do like Doja Cat.
Ash Nico right now.
Mm-hmm.
So it appealed to me. Also, I started listening to Slater.
What's that?
It's not good.
Okay,
I'm just gonna tell you, it's not good. It's really bad, and it's just like, I'm a hot bitch, and I'm gonna sing about it kind of music.
And which is okay sometimes.
But it's not well done.
Yeah.
It's a guilty pleasure right now.
My guilty pleasure right now is Savage Love by Jason Derulo, that TikTok song. I actually, like, the whole song is being played on the radio, and, like, I really like it.
You should hear Freya sing it. She'll, like, scream it at the top of her
Oh,
voice.
me and Freya, man.
Anyways.
Back to the story.
Katherine was released into David and his mother's custody in 1976. They moved to Woodridge together, and Katherine obtained a new job at the Dinmore Meat Works. In 1980, they had another daughter together. In 1984, Katherine left David and moved back to Aberdeen to be with her parents. She worked at the slaughterhouse there until she hurt her back, gained disability pension, and the government provided her with housing compensation.
This girl is just lucky card.
Yes.
Lucky card.
Yes, for sure. She had some other dysfunctional relationships after David. A guy named David Saunders, a different guy, in 1986. Oh, I was going to make... Hold on. All right.
Okay.
A guy named David Saunders, a different guy, in 1986, she was very obsessive of him.
Why are you so obsessed?
And she cut the throat of one of his dingo pups in front of him.
Oh my god!
Claiming that it was an example of what would happen to him if he ever cheated on her. And then knocked him unconscious with a frying pan.
Oh my god.
Disney's Tangled copyrighted this woman.
Yeah, they did. Oh no.
Also, don't sue me, Disney. I don't know if I can say that.
Yeah, don't sue us.
It's a joke. It's just a joke.
Funny.
They're gonna rape me for all my money.
Can we just, like, talk about the dingo pup for a minute?
Yeah, what the fuck?
If somebody even, like, hurt my animal, didn't kill them, even just hurt them in a relatively serious manner,
I would destroy them.
oh, Absolutely.
I would curb stomp their ass.
Absolutely.
They would be
eating shit for weeks. Okay?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Ballistic.
David should have left her right then and there.
He should have.
Been like, lady, I'm sorry, that'll happen to me if I ever cheat on you. That's what's going to happen to you right now.
Goodness gracious. Okay, so in 1988, she gave birth to her third daughter. This pressure.
Then he knocked her up after she slit his dingo pup's throat?
Yes, I imagine these men are very insecure.
Oh.
And don't
like
don't recognize that they deserve better, probably.
Yeah.
Because they're all very nice.
Lord.
They're all very, very nice.
Was she beautiful?
I don't, she wasn't that bad looking.
Okay.
I wouldn't say she's ugly.
Okay.
In 1988, she gave birth to her daughter, blah, 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 blah. This pressured David to buy a house for them. So they got a house together, and Katherine decorated that bitch and left no corner, ceiling, or any space uncovered by some kind of animal pelt, taxidermy, traps, machetes, pitchforks, etc., etc., etc. Like if the Texas Chainsaw guy decided to get into interior design. They split up after a good old cat hit him in the face with an iron and stabbed him in the stomach with a pair of scissors.
On brand.
So...
Wait, stabbed him in the stomach with a pair of scissors?
Yeah. She does a lot of stabbing, too.
I don't like stabbing.
And hitting, and etc., etc. So, the next guy, John Chillingworth. Ooh. In 1990, Katherine became pregnant with this former known coworker, so they used to work together. This relationship lasted 3 years. Katherine was having an affair with John Price, who was in the next relationship in question, and the victim to who started me on this article.
Oh no, Pricey boy.
So she's had like 4 kids.
With all different men.
Yeah.
Which, no judgment if you're doing that the right way. This is not the right way.
True. You can have kids with whoever you want to have kids with, but if you're
stabbing him in the stomach and you're slicing the dingo pup's throat, you probably should consider not motherhood.
Therapy.
Yeah.
So, John had 3 children of his own, and only the 2 older children lived with him. So the youngest of them lived with his
mom,
baby mom or whoever.
Okay.
Their relationship was about as good as the previous ones had been.
Yeah.
Fighting and the lot and everything, and she got him fired from his 17-year-long job.
Oh.
So she was mad at him for something, and so he was taking, like, expired goods from his job, which, like, they didn't care about, but she took pictures of all of these things and sent them to their job, so they, like, had to do something.
Right.
So they fired him.
God damn it.
He stayed with her, but refused to let her live with him. So, like, he was really pissed about it, but was like, you can't live with me, but I'll still, like, be your boyfriend.
I wonder, like, if these men, they had to have been afraid to leave her. They had to have been truly, like when a woman is in an abusive relationship and doesn't leave, they had to have been afraid to really leave her. That's the only way I can rationalize this.
I don't know. A lot of his friends stopped talking to him while he was in the relationship with her, too.
Oh, my God.
So, I imagine, like, his whole construct changed. How he carried himself. Alone. Yeah. So, in February of 2000, Katherine had accumulated a lot of assaults on John, and he also stabbed her, or she stabbed him in the chest, and he kicked her out.
Good boy.
So, on the 29th of, I think, February, I didn't write the month like an idiot, but, you know.
So it was a leap year?
Maybe. I don't know. Whatever.
I'm assuming it was a leap year.
Some early 29th day of a certain month in 2000. Yes. How about that?
Yep, that works.
He got a restraining order against Katherine.
First one.
Yeah.
Snaps for John.
In an effort to keep her away from him and his children.
Thank you.
That afternoon, John told his coworkers that if he did not come into work the next day, it was because Katherine had murdered him. They were worried and asked him not to return home if that was the case, but he said he needed to ensure the safety of his children.
Oh, no.
When he returned home later that evening, he found Katherine not home, and the children were also not home, but she had sent them to sleep over at a friend's house.
Oh, no.
So he stayed home, took a shower, chilled out for a little bit, was hanging out.
He should have just gone.
Katherine, I don't know, she was with her children somewhere. I don't know the context of this, but she went out and bought some lingerie, some fancy black shit, had videotaped herself with her children and made some comments that were interpreted to be some kind of will.
So she's lost it at this point, basically. Yeah. Okay.
And I imagine it was just, like, some, like, either I'm blatantly videotaping and acting like I'm not, or I'm videotaping on the side and just talking to my kids and being crazy and just saying, this is gonna be it kind of conversation.
Ooh, I don't like that. I wonder if the children remember that today. I hope not.
I don't know how old they were, but I'm sure they do. At least a little bit. Yeah. But if she was like that all the time, maybe they didn't.
Yeah.
She returned to John's house, had sex with him.
Oh, God.
And this was around 11 p.m.
God damn it, John.
I'm going to trigger warning again.
Oh, no.
It's going to be graphic gore.
Bring it on.
Yeah, graphic gore. I put vor, too. I know vor is, like, eating people, but I don't know if that's just explicitly, like, the sexual kind.
Okay.
I don't know. But gore and cannibalism is the trigger warning for right now.
Yeah. If you have been here this long, you can make it through this.
Buckle up. This is the first one that made me uncomfortable.
Ooh, okay. Here we go.
So, in the morning, concerned neighbors and friends of John's alerted the authorities after noticing his car in the driveway and him not showing up for work and noticing blood on the front door.
Oh, no.
Police arrived at 8 a.m. So we have 11 p.m. to 8 a.m.
That's not a lot of time.
That's 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 hours.
Oh, no.
Of unaccounted for time.
Oh, no.
Well, we know what happened during those 9 hours. A lot happened. Police arrived at 8 a.m., broke down the back door, and found John's body, which was no longer, like, completely intact at this point, with Katherine in a comatose state after taking a copious amount of pills.
She tried to kill herself.
She had stabbed John with a butcher's knife while he was sleeping. Blood trails led police to believe that he tried to make an escape after being stabbed, but was brought back into the house after some attempt at the front door. Katherine, after this, went to an ATM and withdrew $1,000 from John's account. An autopsy revealed that John had been stabbed 37 times in the front and the back.
I don't like stabbing. You can cut up a body any day, and I can read all about it, but stabbing makes me so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Oh.
So after she stabbed him, she left and then must have come back because she had to leave to go get the money.
That's true.
I think she also went to the grocery store, if I'm being honest. Several hours. Please don't throw up.
I won't.
I will scream.
I will owe you $20.
Yes. My friends have, I have a emetophobia. I do not like vomiting. And if any of my friends puke in front of me, they gotta give me $20.
Don't worry, I haven't thrown up in like 11 years, so.
It's a rule. They all know it. That goes for anybody that hears us now, too.
Yeah, you throw up and I see it. Sorry, you gotta give Amanda $20.
Yeah. Oh, it only had to happen once.
I know, that story is so funny. That's my favorite story.
Alright, continuing. After Price had died several hours later, Katherine skinned his body, hung him from a meat hook on the doorframe of the lounge, decapitated him, cooked parts of his body, and served him with baked potato, pumpkin, beetroot, zucchini, cabbage, yellow squash, and gravy in settings at the dining table, accompanied by notes that each had a plate having each one of John's children's names on them.
Are you fucking kidding me? Alright, not to sound weird, but like, she fixed him up with some really good stuff. So, not to be insensitive, I'm just trying to lighten the mood here a little bit.
There's an A for effort, you know.
She was really like trying to present it.
The Food Network was on, you know.
But then at the same time, that being said, in the same breath, I don't know if the kids ate it or not. Don't spoil it yet, because I'm sure you'll get to it. But if they didn't, wow. But if they did, they probably wouldn't have realized right away what was happening if the area had been cleaned up.
I'm going to say, let me just continue, but remind me to come back to that point. A third plate was found thrown out the back door for unknown reasons, but it speculated Katherine had attempted to eat it but couldn't. Price's head was found in a pot with vegetables. The pot was still warm when police found it, estimating the cooking to have happened early morning. So I'm going to say, I don't think any of this looked appetizing.
Okay, you don't think it was, like, properly presented?
No,
okay.
I think this was a very, like...
exhibitionist type thing?
Yeah, I don't think there was anything clean or organized about any of this happening.
Okay.
Like, any of it. I imagine it to be really messy. Like, yes, there might have been a plate with some vegetables on it. Do I think it looked appetizing at all? No.
No. Okay.
You know, maybe she didn't even cook them.
It wasn't a Jeffrey Dahmer dinner.
No.
Okay.
And I don't think she ate it. Nobody ate it.
Yeah, okay. That, if there is a silver lining at all, that is it. I guess. Maybe.
Yes.
Poor Pricey.
Katherine, at some point after all this, had arranged the rest of the body with an arm draped over an empty 1 1/4 liter soda bottle with the legs crossed.
And it's skinned. I just remembered that.
Yeah. The only thing I can think was, like, actually done well was probably the skinning and...
Well, because she worked in the butchery.
Yeah, what parts she cut off. Katherine had left a handwritten letter on top of a photo of John covered in blood and bits of flesh, and it read, this is kind of quoted, but she didn't learn how to read or write, really. So, it says, time you got back, Jonathan, for raping's misspelled, my daughter's misspelled, you to Beck, or you two is misspelled, you to Beck, which is Price's daughter, for Ross, for little John, it's John's son, now play with the little John's dick, John Price.
Uh-oh.
The accusations in the note were found to be false and made up.
I believe that.
So, I think this was the most crazy, manic-induced few hours possible.
Manic is the perfect word for it. She had to have been manic bipolar.
There was no, rhyme or reason to anything she was doing.
Because how many times has she stabbed a guy and he survived? Like, it didn't turn into a bloodbath.
Right. So I think she just kind of hit that.
She cracked.
Yeah.
But the restraining order must have been the end for her.
Yeah, she probably has some abandonment issues.
Yeah.
You know, she had a lot of issues. Katherine claims to not remember anything of what happened that night. And I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Katherine's initial offer was to plead manslaughter, but was denied.
You don't do that to a body and get manslaughter, even if it was a manic episode.
Yeah. Then she switched to not guilty. And then, right after, right before her hearing or whatever, she switched it to guilty. The justice adjourned the trial and ordered a psych assessment overnight to determine if Katherine even understood what it meant to plead guilty.
Yeah.
Katherine's legal team planned on claiming amnesia and disassociation, but Katherine was deemed sane. I don't think she was.
Not fully.
No. I think she probably could have pleaded insanity.
Yeah.
2 psychiatrists diagnosed Katherine with borderline personality disorder.
Absolutely.
She also refused to accept responsibility for the murder and following actions, and during the sentencing, Katherine's lawyers requested she be excused to avoid hearing some facts and evidence. It was refused, and when the skinning and decapitation was described, Katherine became hysterical and had to be sedated.
So it triggered an episode in her again, even just hearing it.
Yeah.
Like a breakdown.
Uh-huh. Like I said, she was the first woman in Australia to be sentenced to life without parole.
Yeah.
And also, I thought this was so cool. At the end of the Wikipedia article, it shouted out a lot of our fellow true crime comedies that covered the story, and it mentioned That's Why We Drink and The Morbid Podcast.
Which are my 2 favorite podcasts.
Among other ones. And I thought, our name might be on this list now.
Yeah. Oh, God, I hope so. That would be so cool.
Yeah.
Wow. Big woof. And a double woof in the name of the dingo pup. She definitely was insane, but what scares me about pleading insanity is sometimes they can get out after they've been rehabilitated.
Yeah.
So even though she was insane, it's a good thing she got this sentence.
I think she got the sentence even more so because she had other shit on her record,
right, this wasn't just a one-off thing.
No.
It was just a breaking point, and she would definitely have done this again.
Yeah.
it would have happened again.
Yeah. If she wasn't so messy with it, I think if she, like, actually made an effort to do it in an organized fashion and dispose of the body, she probably would have got a couple others.
She would have been a serial killer.
Yeah.
A female serial killer.
Yeah. But that's why I think she's insane, because there was no...
She couldn't do the methodical
No, and there was no, like, there was no instigator. There was no drive. It wasn't a sexually...
sexually motivated crime.
It wasn't sexually motivated. It wasn't revenge motivated. Like,
she was just literally mentally unstable.
Yeah.
From her past, from her childhood.
Yeah. Which takes us into our nature versus nurture.
100% a nurture situation.
Continuing conversation. Yes, for sure nurturing.
100% nurture.
I think, yes, she would have had maybe some borderline personality, because I know people with borderline personality, and they can function.
Yeah.
And they, you know, people seek help for those things, and same thing with depression and anxiety. But when you have a mental illness that goes so unchecked for so long, it literally branches off into so many things.
Piled on with so much trauma.
Yes.
And from so many different avenues. One, the sexual trauma from watching her mother hearing about her mother get raped, and then her mom not teaching her proper, like, sexuality.
Mm-hmm.
And then her uncle killing himself. So, like, it's a totally different set of trauma coming onto her. Becoming a bully, having the illiteracy issues.
And speaking, you know, from experience, like, I have depression, and when I was younger, and I, you know, even after I was in, like, a healthy environment, I wasn't on any kind of counseling, I wasn't taking any medications, and I had so much anxiety and paranoia. I was paranoid all the time. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't sleep. You know, I would... It was just bad. It was bad.
Yeah.
But I had a good situation growing up, like, fairly good.
Enough that it would keep you.
And I did seek help, and I'm on an antidepressant now.
Right.
And I was so against them for a long time, but, like,
there's nothing wrong with them if it turns out that that's truly what you need.
All of those little branches of anxiety and paranoia and everything, those are totally gone now. Like, I'm not even worried about them anymore.
So it makes it easier to deal with, like, the major thing, and if she had just had somebody to help her.
Yeah. I feel like if she, you know, had I'm, like, talking like a robot. If she had an avenue to learn coping skills and seek treatment and manage the trauma she had, I think she would have been a totally different person.
And somebody to help teach her, like, actual schooling better than what she had received, so that she could feel more confident in her abilities as a person.
Yes, I think education deals with mental stability as well.
Because if you don't... I see it with Haley all the time, because she just started kindergarten. She gets so distraught when she doesn't know something, or if she doesn't remember something that she just learned. Mm-hmm. Like, she had a full-on breakdown today about it. She's like, well, what do I do? I don't remember anything I learned this week at school. And I said, honey, you're just learning. It's not like you know this stuff front and back. I said, the stuff you do know front and back, you've been learning that for the last couple of years. I said, it's going to take time. So I see it in my 5-year-old niece, like, her having this identity crisis because she's mad that
5 years old.
Like, because she can't remember how to say hello in French when she learned it on Friday.
Right.
And I can't imagine, like, being a full-grown woman and feeling so uncomfortable and insecure about yourself because you don't have the basic skills that everybody is supposed to have.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure there's some, you know, discrimination that you think you're facing and things like that, for sure.
Maybe some of her personality was to overcompensate for what she felt she didn't get growing up. And then it just spiraled because she had other unchecked mental health issues.
Yeah, maybe. And also, like, the whole... her mother constantly telling her how much she hates men, hates sex, and things like that. It's the same
thing as, like, when we hear about men whose mother, they have, like, a weird relationship with their mother, like Ed Kemper or Ed Gein. Like, they try to teach their sons that women are vile and women are trash. It was the same thing, except the mom taught the girl that the men were trash.
And I'm sure physically she was a very healthy woman, so she probably did have emotions towards men and feelings towards men and sexual feelings towards men, but felt like it was wrong. Like, she shouldn't be able to be in love, or she shouldn't be able to enjoy sex, or, you know, whatever.
Yep. And so she was mad with herself even more, pushing on that personality disorder that she probably had.
Yep.
Doesn't excuse anything she did, by no means, but
no, but
I like to dissect why it happened.
Yeah, I do sympathize with her. I feel bad that
her life came to that.
Yeah, that it ended that way and even started that way.
Yeah. She didn't deserve it.
No.
None of them deserved it. None of the people in this story. Least of all, the dog.
Yeah, okay. Well, sorry, that was a pretty heavy episode.
Yeah, that's pretty sad.
It's definitely more of, like, the more serious ones I've done.
That was excellent.
It's long, too.
That was long.
I'm getting better.
Look at you.
Wow.
This is your longest episode yet.
I know. I'm so...
And it's still going to be long even when I cut out that other stuff. It'll still be long.
Yes. I'm just... I feel good when I look at it. I'm like a third of the way through and it's already at 30 minutes.
Yeah. That's comfy. That's a comfy feeling.
Yes, it is.
Good job. Snaps for Amanda. Excellent. You know, I used to snap like this when I was a kid. I would put my... For those of you who can't see me, I would put my ring finger on my thumb and then I would put my middle finger on top of my ring finger and I would snap like that. Until I realized that's not how you snap.
Well, I can see why you do that because the sound of snapping is your finger hitting your palm. So yeah. The harder you make that, the louder the snap is. So you putting your fingers on top of the other ones is probably what gave you the strength to make that snapping sound.
Yeah. And then I learned. I don't know how I learned it or when it happened. And I was like, oh, God damn it. No wonder it didn't sound the way I wanted it to sound.
All right. Plugs?
Yep. On Instagram at Crime in the Coconut. You can find us on Twitter at CITC Podcasts. You can email us at crimeinthecoconut@gmail.com. This is almost... Is this the end of September? This is the end of September. This episode will be the end of September, which means that you guys will have heard our spooky trailer for what's coming next month. It's not going to be on every episode. You can listen to it over again by itself. We will play it probably at the end of this episode for you guys to listen to, so that way if you don't want to, you don't have to. And that this comes out on the 27th, which will mean that that's the merch release date.
Yes.
So that means today you guys are getting to see everything we've been working on for like 2 months now.
We've been pushing out so much shit.
So much
like
work.
Someone put 10 laxatives in our morning coffee.
Genuinely, that's what's happening. And so now you guys get to look at all that shit, and hopefully you love it enough to purchase it. We're going to do a big Patreon launch. I know we told you it's up, but we're going to do a huge Patreon launch and reveal everything about Patreon. YouTube's going to be coming soon, so we'll probably talk about what's coming up on YouTube. It's going to be a big day today, so it's not happening currently as we're recording, but when you listen, lots of fun stuff is happening today. So
for sure.
You can find us on all those places I just said to look at all the fun stuff happening. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.
Bye.
Beware the autumn, people. For some, autumn comes early, stays late through life. For these beings, fall is never normal season. The only weather, there be no choice beyond. Where do they come from? The dust. Where do they go? The grave. Does blood stir in their veins? No. The night wind. What ticks in their head? The worm. What speaks from their mouth? The toad. What sees from their eyes? The snake. What hears with their ear? The abyss between the stars. They sift the human storm for souls, eat flesh of reason, fill tombs with sinners. They frenzy forth, in gust they beetle scurry, creep thread, filter, motion, make all moons sullen, and surely cloud all clear running waters. The spiderweb hears them, trembles, breaks.
Do you find yourself running to turn on the lights when you're moving through a dark room? Do you find yourself feeling like there is someone watching you when you're home alone? There are things in our world that we can't explain, that we fear more deeply than we can understand.
Is that a twig snap you hear on your hike, a squirrel, or something more sinister? Was that a shadow you saw, or is there someone, something there?
Welcome to a month full of monsters, myths, and the macabre. For the month of October, our episodes will stray from the normal true crime to cover the unexplainable, the paranormal, the horrors of the other side.
Join us every Sunday, if you dare, to hear perhaps some of the scariest stories we've shared yet. Decide if you're a skeptic, believer, or something in between. Make sure to keep your peepers peeled for a special Halloween episode sure to scare your socks off.
We can't wait to get scary with you.
Welcome to Halloween. We are Crime in the Coconut.
Such are the autumn people. Beware of them.